By now, you've likely heard of the Great Resignation, Americans leaving their jobs at a record pace. The Bureau of Labor Statistics recently announced a record 4.5 million Americans quit their jobs in November. A big reason why workers say they are feeling burnt out. Joining us now to discuss this is executive leadership coach Elena Armijo. Elena, what is your reaction to hearing 4.5 million Americans voluntarily leaving their jobs in November?
My reaction was, I'm not surprised. I mean, the number is quite high, but as a coach, we've been seeing this happening in record time throughout the whole pandemic. So it's a large number, but it's not surprising to me. People are at the end of the rope.
And how has the pandemic really inspired people to quit their jobs?
Well, I think that the pandemic has taught us that life is short and precious. I think that when we have a global virus that has had such massive impact on us as humans, we've had to really slow down and look at what's important to us and how we're choosing to live our life. So I like to say with my clients that I've spoken to, everybody had to face that thing that they've been unwilling to face so far in their life during the pandemic. So with that being said, we've really had a lot of time to think about what's important to us and where we're headed as humans in the world. So a lot of people had time to say, do I actually want to be at this job? Am I happy? Am I getting what I need? And so those are the questions that we've been wrestling with over the past 2 years.
And you say that so many people have been experiencing burnout. Just explain to us what exactly burnout is and why do you think so many more American workers are feeling that way than they had been in the past?
Yeah, well, burnout is a concept of it's just always more. So we're always working to prove or create more than we ever have before. And it's a cycle, it never ends. And so there's always the next and the next thing to do. And that in itself creates overwhelm. Overwhelm is self-created because we keep running on the cycle. So I think before we were able to get away with this as a society in the United States, and now it simply is not working anymore. So people are taking a look at what's next outside of burnout. But I think the important thing to talk about with burnout underneath it is what's missing for you. A lot of people are operating on top of something called scarcity, right? Like, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough energy to get all the things I want done, which fundamentally is scarcity as a definition. And so the first thing we got to do is slow down and look at what we're afraid of missing out on or not having enough of and have that conversation.
Hey, and how are American workers supposed to avoid burnout? They're still working. They were working in 2021. Many of us working in 2020 when this whole pandemic happened. They've continued to work through this and probably are feeling burnt out. What can they do without leaving their jobs? Because so many people just, we can't just leave our jobs. There's bills that have to be paid. We got to keep the lights on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. So I think the key is instead of trying to avoid it, you've got to address it. So the first thing is get some support, talk to people. There are mental health professionals out there. There are coaches like myself that are willing to support you in looking at what's actually going on that's running the story that you don't have enough of something. So that's the first thing is get some support. And the second thing I'll say is we got to slow down. So you don't have to quit, you don't have to walk away, but you do have to have a real authentic conversation about what is not working for you. Do you not have enough support on your team? Do you need somebody else to be hired? Do you actually need to cancel your day today for half a day so that 2 weeks from now, you're not canceling your week? So it's really getting ahead of looking at what you need.
And in addition to, workers learning from this, I'm sure bosses can as well, employers. What message would you have for bosses out there to avoid this? Because I know that they don't want to see their employees be burnt out.
Yeah, my message to employers is we're in a new era where everything is going to be integrated, right? We're talking about that from a hybrid work approach to what do your people actually need? So the conversation has to start with integration instead of this is work and your personal life is your personal life. We're really seeing employers lean into, okay, let's have a larger conversation about what it looks like to work here and how your value system and your personal beliefs are tied to our company as well for longevity. So my message to employers is take the time to have that conversation. So many people want to just get to finishing the work or getting to the quarter one or quarter two, or where we need to be with our ROI. And instead, slow down and listen to your people. What do they need? And how can you work with them together on the solution instead of just putting Band-Aids on top of it?
All right, well, thank you so much. That's Elena Armijo. We appreciate you joining us. She is an executive leadership coach. She is also the founder of C-Suite Collective and host of the podcast In a Manner of Speaking. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.